Before we begin our journey today, I want to take a gentle moment to practice complete transparency with you. The narrative structure, the botanical insights, and the philosophical reflections in this video were collaboratively crafted with the assistance of artificial intelligence. This content is offered to you as a source of aesthetic inspiration, a catalyst for mindful reflection, and a guide for your botanical curiosity. It is meant to be a reference, an invitation to think deeper, rather than absolute horticultural lore. Now, let us take a deep, grounding breath and step into the quiet mystery of today's subject. If you look around the homes of your friends, your family, or perhaps in your own sunniest window, you are almost guaranteed to find a Crassula ovata. Universally known as the jade plant, it is a staple of the indoor garden. We love it for its thick, woody trunks that resemble ancient miniature trees, and its plump, fleshy, emerald green leaves. It is a plant of profound permanence and sturdiness. It feels immortal. Because it is so common, and because it grows so slowly, we often stop truly looking at it. We accept it as a static piece of living furniture. But the jade plant is holding on to a magnificent secret. It is capable of producing something so incredibly delicate, so entirely unexpected, that when it happens, it feels like a quiet miracle. Under a very strict, highly specific set of environmental and energetic conditions, the tough, structural jade plant will erupt into a canopy of tiny, star-shaped flowers, casting a cloud of pale white and soft pink across its heavy branches. To see a jade plant bloom indoors is a phenomenally rare event. Most people will own one for decades and never witness it. Why does this sturdy, ancient-looking succulent keep its flowers so fiercely hidden? And what profound lesson is it trying to teach us when it finally decides to bloom? Today, we are going to decode the mystery of the blooming jade. We will explore the ancient mythology of wealth, the strict botanical science of survival, and the beautiful necessity of weathering the cold. The mythology of the money tree. To truly appreciate the magnitude of this bloom, we must first understand the heavy energetic weight that the jade plant carries. In many Asian cultures and in the practice of classical Feng Shui, the Crassula ovata is not just a plant, it is the ultimate symbol of financial prosperity. It is the original money tree. Look at the anatomy of the plant. The leaves are not thin or fragile. They are thick, round, and swollen with water, perfectly resembling precious jade stones or ancient coins. They grow slowly, deliberately, adding layer upon layer of sturdy growth to a solid, woody trunk. Energetically, the jade plant does not represent fast, chaotic, or fleeting money. It represents generational wealth. It represents abundance that is built slowly, conserved wisely, and rooted deeply. In these spiritual traditions, when a jade plant is merely growing leaves, it signifies that your wealth is stable and secure. But when a jade plant suddenly produces flowers, it is considered one of the most powerful, auspicious omens you can possibly receive in your home. The bloom is a declaration from the universe. It signifies a massive, impending breakthrough in your financial life or your personal prosperity. It means the energy of your space has reached a pinnacle of compounding abundance, and the quiet investments you have made are finally ready to bear spectacular fruit. But this ultimate reward cannot be bought, and it cannot be forced through overcare. The jade plant demands something far more complex from us before it reveals its stars. The botanical paradox, the necessity of the cold. This brings us to the hard, fascinating botanical science of the mystery. Why is it so incredibly rare to see this happen inside our modern homes? The answer lies in the concept of Hormesis, the biological truth that extreme strength and profound beauty are often born directly from environmental stress. To understand the jade plant, we must look to its ancestral home, the rocky, arid, and unforgiving slopes of South Africa. In its natural habitat, the jade plant is a master of survival. It stores massive amounts of water in its leaves to survive brutal droughts. But the trigger for its reproductive cycle, the signal that tells its DNA it is time to flower, is not water, and it is not fertilizer. The trigger is the harsh arrival of winter. For a jade plant to bloom, it must experience a severe, prolonged drop in temperature, specifically at night, combined with incredibly short, dark days. It needs to feel the biting chill of the changing season, often temperatures dropping down to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Simultaneously, it must experience profound drought. The soil must remain bone dry for weeks on end. This is the grand paradox. In our modern, comfortable homes, we have eradicated the seasons. We use central heating to keep our rooms at a perfectly comfortable, static temperature all year round. We water our plants on a consistent schedule. We coddle them. Because the jade plant inside your living room never feels the biting cold of winter and never faces the stress of true drought, it never feels the biological urgency to reproduce. It remains in a state of eternal, comfortable childhood. The mystery of the bloom is simply the mystery of a plant waiting for a winter that never comes. The architecture of contrast. If you are willing to subject your plant to this controlled, mindful stress, placing it in a freezing, drafty window in the depths of December and withholding water entirely, you might be rewarded with the bloom. And when it arrives, it is a masterclass in visual and energetic contrast. The flowers of the jade plant do not emerge as massive, showy centerpieces. They arrive as tight, microscopic clusters at the very tips of the heaviest branches. When they open, they reveal themselves as five-pointed, perfect little stars. They are usually a crystalline, icy white, sometimes blushing with a faint, translucent pink. They carry a very subtle, sweet fragrance, designed to catch the cold winter wind. The aesthetic beauty of the blooming jade lies in its extreme polarity. You have this incredibly brutalist, masculine foundation, the thick, scarred, woody trunk, and the heavy, swollen, dark green leaves. And erupting from the ends of this heavy structure is a delicate, feminine, almost ethereal cloud of starlight. It is the perfect visual representation of yin and yang. It proves that immense, hardened strength is capable of producing breathtaking, fragile beauty. The Aquatelier Method, Bonsai Aesthetics, and AMP, Zero Mess. Cultivating a jade plant, especially one mature enough to potentially bloom, is an exercise in patience and architectural design. Because these plants can live for decades and become incredibly top-heavy, the way we pot them dictates not only their health, but the entire aesthetic frequency of your room. In the Aquatelier Method, we treat the jade plant not as a standard houseplant, but as a modern, effortless bonsai. You must select a pot that is heavy, grounding, and visually quiet. A shallow, unglazed terracotta bowl or a wabi-sabi-inspired, textured ceramic vessel is perfect. The porous nature of unglazed clay is crucial as it actively pulls moisture away from the soil, helping to create the drought conditions the jade desperately craves. The soil must be violently fast-draining. A standard potting mix will suffocate and rot the ancient roots. You must use a gritty, chunky, succulent mix, heavily amended with large pumice stones, expanded clay, and coarse horticultural sand. Finally, to anchor the plant and maintain our uncompromising zero-mess aesthetic, we must meticulously dress the surface. Because the jade represents a rugged, ancient tree, the top dressing should reflect a mountainous landscape. Carefully place a few large, angular, natural landscaping rocks around the base of the thick trunk to visually anchor it to the earth. Then, cover the remaining exposed soil entirely with a thick layer of coarse, natural desert sand or fine, muted gravel. This does more than just look beautiful. It creates a heavy, sterile barrier that locks the dirt away forever. When you do eventually water it, the water passes instantly through the rocks and sand, leaving the surface looking pristine, intentional, and perfectly clean. Final thoughts. The mystery of why the jade plant blooms offers us a profound philosophical reflection. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid discomfort, seeking out eternal warmth and constant ease. We assume that a good life, much like a good garden, is one free of harsh conditions. But the Crassula ovata teaches us that true prosperity, deep resilience, and the most spectacular, rare beauty only emerge after we have weathered the cold. It asks us to embrace the changing of our own seasons, to find strength in periods of drought, and to trust that even in the darkest, coldest moments of winter, we are quietly preparing to bloom. Thank you so much for joining me in this quiet space today. If this philosophy of mindful, aesthetic, botanical living brought you a sense of peace, please take a quiet moment to subscribe to Aquatelier. Keep curating your sanctuary, embrace your seasons, and I will see you in the next peaceful video.